class. So with restorative yoga classes, we tend to use props. And in this case, not everyone might have props. So I'll just show what different props that a lot of yoga studios use. Of course, we have blocks. And again, you may or may not have blocks. A lot of times they use bolsters, and then they even have blankets and such, which I did bring my yoga blanket. But in most cases, you know, I always talk about using beach towels and such. Okay, they work. In fact, sometimes even thicker ones. You've seen the ones that I bring in class. You know, it could be the blankets from high schools. It says modern on there. Other beach towels actually work better because they're a little bit thicker. And then even as far as bolsters, you can actually create your own bolsters, or use things around the house that could be bolsters. So sometimes you see the nice fancy bedrooms that they have those shams and stuff. I think is what they're called. I'm not really good at all these things, but you can use those pillows if your pillow is kind of fluffy and you want to add more stuff to it. What I did in mine was, this was at a yin workshop, I had the pillow itself, and then I shoved a couple more beach towels inside just to add a little bit more support to it. So that's another option you can do as well. All right. Now, other things. So some of you guys may have stuff like these. If you ever had to use the foam roller, you know, especially if anyone has gone to physical therapy and such, you may have something like this. So what you could do here is this, of course, is a little bit harder. So you could also use a beach towel and kind of roll it around there. So that's an option as well. So I'm just giving you a little bit of options what we're going to do. Later on, when we talk about cervical rolls, you know, our cervical, of course, or our neck spine is usually at a slight curve. And what's lovely with the cervical roll is it kind of like it's giving you that nice gentle hug behind it. So the greatest way to have that work, and I'll move a little bit closer so you can see, you can use a much smaller towel, like a hand towel. But even if you have like one of these lighter towels and stuff like that, then what you do is you kind of just roll it up. And see, it's not too thick of a diameter. So you notice it's probably perfect enough so that when I have this flat on the back, my neck is laying over here, my head's on this side, and it just kind of like hugs it. And then sometimes you may even want to, at the sides, like let's say it's wrapped around your head, kind of like roll it in, and it just seems to like hug your neck. Isn't that so cute? You know, like, have you ever seen cats or kittens? They come by and they kind of like hug around you. Same thing, you guys, except for that you don't have fur in your face, but you know what I mean. So that's another option. Other times in restorative, and you've seen this in the classes that we've taught, we talk about eye pillows. Now, they actually, believe it or not, make eye pillows, and they look like these, okay? You don't need to have this. I always think, and we've done this, hand towel. Hand towel is perfect. All you do is kind of fold it, and then gently let it just rest on top of your eyes. And what that does is it gives a nice way for your eyes to block out any of the light, kind of helps close the senses so you can kind of focus inward. And of course, if you're into aromatherapy, you notice how I usually do the lavender spray. So you can do that, but you don't even have to buy essential oil sprays. You may have something that might be a little bit more warming. We just talked about using fresh plants and stuff like that. You can always grab some basil and kind of rub it. Don't put it to the side that you're going to have next to your eyes because that could burn. But you might want to just rub it on the outside of it or on the inside. Another thing is citrus. So orange tends to be nice and relaxing. It evokes that nice relaxing feeling. So you can always keep the peels of oranges, you notice, and then you can always kind of squeeze it and you can see the little spray to that. So that oil you can even put on there as well. So different options from a restorative standpoint. So let's go do a couple different things. So let's try to create, and like I said, any kind of cushion that you might have at the couch. Sometimes you can pull cushions off. So first of all, I'm trying to see, can you have something that looks like a bolster, can be like a bolster? And if so, I'm going to show you what we're going to do, a little bit of some of the twists. kind of work some of our organs and such. So does everyone have something similar to a bolster? And if not, maybe some blocks, use some of your towels and place it over it. Excellent. You're gonna have it as long ways, so we're gonna be lying down on top of it. So if you can have something long, maybe if you need time to go get some of your normal pillows that you sleep on, if a couple of pillows, so instead of this, let's just say you have a normal pillow, you might want to stack it up by putting a couple towels on top. That could help you. There you go, I see some people, yeah. Excellent, yeah, so those blankets you might want to roll, make them roll so it's kind of thicker. I'll try to demonstrate, help some of you guys. Again, you want it as bigger as possible. And after all, we're heading into summer right now, so there's no need for us to use all those blankets. Think of all those comforters that we had earlier. You guys could have used all that. So you want to, and honestly, because I see most of you guys might have blocks, and when I say if you don't have blocks, you can always use books. You know, remember those old yellow pages? So you can always lift that up. That might help as well. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit with our right hip up against where we just had all of our blankets or towels or bolsters or whatever that's running down alongside the middle of the mat. So your right hip is going to be up against the edge of, I'll call it the bolster, but whatever prop you have. You created that. All right. And then with your right hip right up against there and your knees stacked on top of each other, you're going to slowly just kind of have your hands on either side of the prop, and you're going to slowly just kind of hold yourself, bend yourself right over it, all right? And then if you want, you can have your right ear on top of your prop, and then you're going to allow your elbows to just gently lay, so your entire forearms laying on the mat. If that makes sense. So we're getting a nice little gentle twist, but because our right side is right on top of the prop, this is where the liver, the ascending colon is. So it's really working on our digestive system. Just think of all the work that our digestive system does for us. So we're allowing it to restore. We're really letting it help. So your right ear is going to be on top of the prop of some sort. If that does not feel good to you, you can always bring your head down, but I always feel like that's a little bit harder for me, at least. Then see what you can do. So if your shoulder feels tight, maybe your elbows are a little bit too close inward, so you can always flare out your elbows a little bit to the side. See if it kind of helps broaden the shoulders. And then as you're just laying here, resting, breathing, kind of feel your breath. Remember, the diaphragm is pressing down into your belly as the belly's trying to rise. It's pressed up, the right side's pressed against the prop, giving a nice, gentle massage. See if you can relax your feet and your legs. Now, some more option. So while you're laying here, some of you guys may say, like, you know what, this does not feel as comfortable for maybe my hips or my knees or anything like that. Perhaps your hips are a little bit wider
And what you may want to do is even put some blankets between your knees to kind of prop it up. And then because that would widen your knee and that might not feel comfortable for your feet, you may want to put a blocker or some blankets between your feet. So I'll demonstrate just to show you more options. So of course that means like, wait, we don't normally have this many blocks. But again, you can use any of those towels that you have around the house or other pillows. So I even brought, where are they? I brought even like small little pillows that you might have around cushions or anything like that. So perhaps I want to put, you know, a small little pillow. I tend to have kind of thin hips, so I really don't need as much, but it does feel a little bit better for me to put a pillow between. And then that means now my ankles are kind of hovering. So I could put a thicker cushion or blanket or something like that between my ankles. Now, if you feel like your ankle, your bottom ankle is pressed up against the floor, if it's off your mat and that doesn't feel comfortable, you can always put a towel or something underneath your bottom foot, bottom ankle, and that gives a little bit of cushion. So this is that restorative sensation. What makes you feel even more comfortable? Knowing that safe, secured feeling. That's what enables us to be nice and able to restore ourselves. Think if you can actually relax your forehead some more. Jaw, shoulders, both feet. As you're laying here breathing, you can actually feel your back ribs expanding. Kind of like the ebb and flow of the ocean, nice waves. All right. Now, gently start moving your hands to be underneath where your shoulders are. You're going to press yourself up away from your prop. And I remove any other things underneath your knees and your feet. We're going to go into tabletop and just do a couple gentle cat-cows. So check your knees, make sure your knees are underneath your hips, your wrists are directly underneath your shoulder width apart. We're just going to do a couple different cat-cows. So just as you inhale, drop your belly down, lift your tailbone, your gaze up. As you exhale, let's arch your back upward, drop your tailbone, your chin tucked in. Exhale, cat. Inhale, into cow. Exhale, into cat. So it's beautiful to get the breath in between our spine, working on the spinal rotation. And then go back to tabletop. Now we're going to do the other side. For me to be able to see you, I'm switching to the other side, but we're going to get to the other side. So again, you can stay in the exact direction, position you have. You don't have to switch around your prop. I'm going to just get to using my bolster. So now you're going to have your left hip up against your prop. And again, you may notice how one side is different than the other side. So if you want to try any of those other things between your ankles or your knee joints, you can. So with your left hip right up against your prop, you're gonna have your knees stacked on top of each other, and then your ankles stacked on top of each other. So again, options. You can place what blankets or pillows or cushions or you name it underneath there. It's up to you. And then you can have both hands on either side of your prop. Try to keep your stomach trying to face toward that prop. Then you slowly walk yourself down so that you're lying right on top of the prop. And then you can actually bring your left ear to the prop side. Now, if by chance, for whatever reason, you do want a little bit more of a cervical spine twist, then you can always bring your right ear to the prop. But I'm considering this a little bit more restorative, just a little bit more gentler. So again, sensations of your body. If your shoulders feels a little tight here, can you perhaps allow your elbows to walk out slightly? And let's say your forearms, your elbows not close to the floor and you feel like it's kind of dangling. If you wanted to feel like it's supported, you can of course use some blankets, fold them up and then and bring the earth up to your forearms. That's another option as well. So this is where you can scan your body to see if there's any tension there. And you try to relax the forehead again, your jaw. That's even the fingers. You may not notice that maybe your hand wasn't completely, and it's not supposed to be flat as can be, but just nice and relaxed. And even perhaps your toes, we may not notice how one foot might be either a little bit more extended or flexed, and just have it in a state where it can be resting gently. Consider the peace that you can have. And we know we can get the peace with Jesus. And because now that's our left side up against the prop, it's the descending colon that's getting to be nicely stimulated and activated with that nice massage of our own breath. Feeling your breath breathing, back ribs expanding, the left side of our belly pressing into the prop. And if you're getting any signals from your body, it's your body's way of speaking to you. You can always, again, try to find the position of your joints. What could make it more relaxed, allowing your muscles to relax. So now we're going to place our hands directly underneath our shoulders. Slowly press ourselves up. Remove any of the props that you may have between your legs. And then this time when you get into tabletop, we're just going to now slightly bring your knees next to each other. You're going to cross your ankles. And then I want you to, again, keep your hands underneath your shoulders. I want you to slightly bring your ankles over toward your right side. Look over toward your right side. Right heel, I should say. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, bring your feet over toward your left side. Look over your left shoulder so you can see your either ankle. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right so you can see your ankles on your right side. Inhale. Exhale to your left. Beautiful. All right. So again, with restorative, you just want to really gently open up our spine. We're getting our different directions. So we're going to go forward. And again, it helps if you have props. So you might want to build it up as much as possible. Because when we do our forward fold, you're going to be just sitting alongside of it. So you can actually have it between your legs. Prop it up. You can have a couple blocks underneath there. Put the pillow on top of it. So whichever way you prefer. So yeah. So again, you can put some blocks between, put some blankets on top of the blocks and such. So as you inhale, and then the other option is, if again your hamstring might be a little tight, you might want to sit on top of a couple of blankets, lift you up, and then as you exhale, slowly start folding forward, fold forward. So you don't have to force yourself. So this may be as far as you want to go, and to make it restorative, that's where it's allowing you to rest. You can place perhaps a block underneath here, and maybe you might want to put a blanket and gently rest. That's an option. Or if you don't even want to bother doing that, you can place your hands on top and then just kind of relax here. So it's up to you. Everyone feels a little bit different. You know, we are uniquely created, and it's so great for you to be more in tune to what your body prefers, what your body really is opening up to let you know. And we don't have to go into our deepest pose. This is restorative. So you're just allowing areas to relax. So let's say you're folding forward and you feel like, shoot, my shoulder feels a little bit tight. options. You could, let's say you have blocks, you could actually have a long side to a position where then your arms, your elbows are bent. Now your forearms may actually rest on there. So that's an option. So I just want you guys to see or sense what feels good for you. So you can practice this on your own. You don't have to use blocks. You can grab onto other people's pillows and just place them underneath as well. And then sense what your body is telling you. So if you're feeling like there's a drying feeling in your mouth, maybe you need to add a little bit more water to it, maybe add a little bit more kapha. There's a, what I always mention about, you can open up your mouth, run your tongue from the right side to the left side of your upper teeth, and feel that fluidity, just adding a little more fluid to your body. And then just feel yourself just relaxing into the earth more. Bring a little bit more of that earth balance. All right, we're going to slowly walk ourselves back up. Then remove any props that might be between you. And then we're going to just bend our knees. And we're just going to do a couple windshield wipers. So your feet are going to be at the width of your mat. And then just drop both knees over toward the right side. Inhale, center as you exhale to the left side. Inhale, center. You can go to your own pace, whatever feels really good for you. Just sometimes your own body wants to do something different. So feel free to do whatever motion you prefer. Again, as I mentioned, we're uniquely created, so you may want it to be faster, or some of you guys might want it to be slower. Some of you guys may feel like, I want to get into a downward facing dog. If so, go for it. All right, so we're going to now go on to our back. Now, does everyone have a strap or a blanket or some sort of thing? So we kind of like lifts up the wall. If you are actually by a wall, you're more than welcome to do this. So lifts up the wall, you don't even need to use a strap, but sometimes that makes it a little bit more restorative. And I just realized I left my strap right there, so I'm going to have to run and go get that one. So we're going to lie on our back. We're going to actually have a nice little loop, and you're going to place it at the bottom of your feet. So let me go run and get my strap. All right. So when you're lying on your back, now loop your strap around. If you have a big strap, if you have a strap where you actually have the whole full loop, and you want this to be truly restorative, you make it large enough so that when you're laying on your back, you don't even have to use any kind of support to hold the strap, and your back is going to be holding you up. So I'm going to show you two different ways, because not everyone has a strap, and you may have a couple belts or ropes or something like that. So when you have your strap around the soles of your feet, when you do that, sometimes it makes your feet to hold against each other. So you can either place a block between your feet so that your ankle's not pressing up against each other. You can even put a blanket or something between your feet or a pillow. That's an option. You don't have to. And then you want to make sure to see if you can have it so that if you're holding your strap, your elbows is gently on top of the floor, so you're not like in a stress situation with your arms having to be working. So you might want to just relax down. So that might be a great way to do it. So you can have it that way. That's an option. Okay. The other option I was mentioning is if by chance you have one of those kind of yoga straps, you can have the loop very large. You have it around your back, so it's almost around like around your back, so that if it were to pull it around to straighten your chest, it's kind of like you're trying to measure, and then you can lift it up here. So it's at that right length so that you're not like so tight. And then you don't have to do anything, you don't have to worry about anything with your arms. So that's an option as well. Now, if you're holding on to both reins, you know, kind of like a horsey thing, see if you can have it so that either you wrap it around your wrist so that you don't actually have to grip, and then just let your hand rest. So that's another option. Or like I said, if you're actually lucky enough to be by a wall, you can actually use legs up the wall. You're allowing the Earth's gravity to help you work on those lymph nodes, those lymphatic fluids are kind of working, helping it come down. Instead of having your blood, your heart having to work to pump it down and back. Let's say this doesn't feel good for your lower back. Another option, let's say you're near a couch or a bed or something like that. You can always lie on the bend your knees and have the your calf resting on top of the chair, or even a chair, or the couch, or the side of the bed. The bed's probably a little too high. And in these cases where you're just lying like this, if you happen to have one of those eye pillows or face cloth, you can always leave it over your eyes just to help you block out any light that might be interfering with you to get your full inner focus. The reason why at nighttime when you sleep, it's really important to have it completely dark. And sometimes if you notice that you might have insomnia or wake up, it could be because there's some lights inside the room. You might not realize it. Maybe some LED lights from chargers or clocks and such. Sometimes it might be even the light from outside. You might have to have a blackout curtain. We actually just added that to our son's room. So if by chance you're holding your strap and you have blocks, what you could do is also put those blocks underneath your forearms, and that kind of helps it relax. And that's just an option for some people. They may say like, "Oh wow, I didn't realize having the block underneath my elbows kind of actually allows that to relax a little bit." Let's slowly bend your knees, your chest. Just rock a little bit side to side. Always a little bit tougher when you're up against the wall. All right, so you may want to get up so you can either roll to one side or the other side and put yourself back up. So one of the favorites, of course, from a restorative standpoint, is open heart. So again, options. If you have a prop, a bolster, you know, have it down alongside your mat. It's our heart opener. Again, same thing as what we did before. You can create that nice little big balls of stuff. So you can have blocks underneath there, books underneath there, towels, blankets, so that you're going to be lying back there. Personally, I love using just 2 blocks. I mean, that's just me. Sometimes people like bolsters just because it's a little bit softer. So it's up to you what you want, bolsters down there or 2 blocks. This is the one where we put underneath our heart. I personally prefer having something underneath my head so it's not too extreme. Again, this is supposed to be restored, so you choose what you want. For some folks, if you do have a bolster, and depending on the kind of bolster you have, sometimes people feel like when they're lying down behind me, this is too intense. It causes them to really arch their back. So people could either have the blanket underneath their hips lifted up as an option. Or some people may actually rolling up a towel or blanket and place it at the top of their bolster or the other piece, so it allows your head to kind of rest higher so it's not so tense. The other thing is called Queen's pose. So sometimes you have the bolster or whatever prop, and you may actually place the block there so it makes it at a slight incline. That's why it's like Queen's pose. So you're kind of like in your throne and you're just lying down there. So it just opens up gently your heart. Or let's just say you have a plank at the house and you can kind of build a little slant. So let's say you are propped up, your back is propped up there. How does your shoulder feel? How does your arm feel? Maybe you might want to have some blankets, or just maybe like 1 fold or 2 folds underneath your forearms, just to be at that. And you might realize, like, wow, I didn't realize what a difference it makes. Just to lift it up some so that your shoulder's not feeling that pressure being brought down. So that might be a way. And this is where in restorative, I love teaching a live class because I love to see where the joints and how the person's muscle happens to be. And as you're laying here, I want you to really sense the breath. Can you feel yourself getting a nice, full, big, deep inhale? Really try to expand that belly. And then as you exhale, can you bring that navel to your spine, trying to press out any stale air that might be in there. And then replenish it as you inhale with that nice, fresh breath again. It's up to you how often you want to do this, but just given this opportunity to really restore your body, sometimes not realizing that what you've been facing on a day-to-day basis, week to week, month, you may need to have that special time to treat yourself, treat each piece of your body. Allowing the oxygen go to that area of need. You know that God breathed life into us through the breath. So as we breathe, we can breathe it into those different areas of our body that needs that healing. You're going to slowly bend your right knee, have the right sole of your feet touch the floor, and then your left knee bend it up so that your left sole's feet can touch the floor. And then push yourself up, like maybe bend your elbows, press yourself up gently. And then we're going to place it so that whatever prop that you have, it may be, again, blanks, it could be the pillows. Now place it down toward the bottom. This is where you have your knees bent. And what that does is it kind of gives you a nice little release in your lower back, because when it's underneath your knees and we go down to our back, we're going to have a very, very long Shavasana. I know that already felt like a Shavasana. So this is where I really want to sense what you can do for it. So this is a great time to do that cervical roll for your neck. So again, if you happen to have some blankets or something like that, or towel, you might want to create that beautiful cervical roll. You have a hand towel if you want to go grab a hand towel and maybe just have it gently rested on top of your eyes. That might be nice. If you do use essential oils or anything like that, this may be a good time that you might want to spray it on there, or just spray around the room. So find yourself in a nice position. The other thing is, again, you may feel like you might want to have something underneath your hands. So if by chance you're on a place where your floor is cold and you don't want your hands to go cold, you can always have some blankets by underneath your skin to contact it. So most importantly is sometimes when you have your knees bent and your feet feel grounded, so maybe the heel make contact to the floor. So if your pillow or whatever is really high, and if by chance your heel's not grounded, you may want to place blocks or something underneath your heels so that it feels like it's secured, that sensation. And usually an external rotation of your shoulders feels the best. So that's where you have your shoulder blades nicely tucked underneath. I like to call them your angel wings, tucked down, grounded. Your hands down by your side, maybe 30 degrees from your side, palms facing upward. Of course, your feet are straight, but not straight down. They're a little bit out to an angle. And because you're underneath, perhaps some type of bolster or pillows, nice and relaxed. But position yourself so that your lower back and even your shoulders feel like they're comforted. You did make a cervical spine, just a cervical pillow. Just make sure that it does feel evenly distributed. If all of a sudden you feel like, oh gosh, it's not, it's completely fine and fix that. With each breath, can you just allow your body to really sink into the earth? We're in our Shavasana. It's a Sanskrit word for dead corpse pose, but just imagine we're allowing the flesh of our bones to just melt into the ground. Allow the bone to be heavy. And I'll rest here for several minutes, and I'll be quiet, and then I'll bring you back later on. you're resting here, I'd like for you to take this time to receive what God has blessed you with. Deeply appreciating all that you currently have, starting with your feet, legs,
Что, тебе помочь что-то?
joints, your hips, stomach,
Она такая интересная.
arms, your hands,
Видишь,
shoulders.
лампочка. Она говорит, вы видели странный цвет? Цвет такой. Так это у меня
Gratitude toward your
такое растение.
head,
Выставлено.
your jaw, your mouth. I'd like for you to, as you're laying here, inhale through your nose, nice deep breath, and as you exhale through your open mouth breath, really pressing in. This time as you inhale, I'd like for you to move your fingers from your toes, rotate your ankles and your wrists. As you inhale, reach your arms over your head. And as you exhale, bring your knees to your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And then roll over to your right side and stay there for at least 2 breath cycles. Keep your lower arm underneath your head. Keep your cervical spine alignment. And because you are laying on your back, we're just allowing the blood to be able to re-nourish those organs that were compressed.
Там мясо нашел?
Now we're going to press yourself up in a comfortable seated position. Your hands on top of your thighs, palms facing upward. If you like, you can keep your eyes closed. We're going to inhale through our nose. Exhale, open mouth breath. Deep inhale here. Full exhale. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Floating your hands together, palm touching palm, thumb resting right above your heart. Tucking your chin down toward your heart. May this practice guide you with time to discover what God has given us, allowing us to heal, allowing us to restore, and allow us to be grateful. Thank you for coming. Namaste.
Все, теперь будет йога.
All right, so I know now Michelle has to do the same thing, like try to unmute everyone. Thank you.